I just thought I would tell those of you who don't know a little bit about how I know Leah. Leah and I used to go to church together, and I've known her for about 15 years. But really, I would say one of the main things that has marked my relationship with Leah is just how long we've waited for this day. Because even though I've now been married for 2.5 years, I was 42 when I got married. And so we had a long time to pray and be hopeful and struggle with not being hopeful. And so anyway, that's kind of my special link with Leah. I just wanted to point out 3 of what I think are the biggest gifts that she'll be bringing to this marriage. It's not the fact that she's beautiful, which she is. It's not the fact that she is very physically fit, which she is, or that she's funny, or that she's intelligent, or a hard worker. She's agreeing with everything I'm saying about her. I mean, there are all of those things, but those are not the 3 things I want to talk about. So the first thing is your integrity. And I know you guys know Leah also, but she just, in her work and just in everything she does, she has so much integrity. But the part that I want to highlight is your relational integrity. And one aspect of that is just having integrity between yourself and God. You know, Leah has called me a few times in tears, just sharing about things that she's discovered about herself that were maybe not so lovely. But you know what? Her response has been to let God work in her heart and change her and mold her and shape her, and you just show incredible integrity in that way. So I honor you for that, and that will bless you as well. But also her integrity with other people. And she just, both in her relationship with Erik and with the girls and with her new church family, I know you will bring nothing but the highest to all of those relationships. So that is one thing. Another gift I think we can celebrate tonight is your intentionality. And, you know, Leah doesn't do things haphazardly. She puts a lot of thought and prayer into what she does, and that will include building a home, being a wife, being a stepmom, being a pastor's wife in particular. It will be a part of all those things, and so you're very intentional. Yeah. And then the third thing is her faithfulness. And you just are so faithful. It was brought out at the wedding also that you're such a faithful friend. And, you know, one of the things I just a couple of quick stories I want to share. One is, that to me kind of envelops all 3 of these gifts is, so as I said, I got married 2 years ago, a little over 2, and we were 2 of the last single gals around in our circle of people. And I said 2 of the last. And you know what? Leah was right by my side during my entire wedding, and she chose to rejoice with me. And she chose, through all 11 weddings that she has been in, to rejoice with the people who were moving on ahead of her in a sense. And she chooses what's right, even though it's costly to her. And so I honor you for that. Yeah. And I guess the last thing I want to say is you certainly are a faithful woman. In fact, one of the things that she used to say to me that I still find strength and encouragement from it is, she used to remind me, Stace, we have a well-worn path to the Lord. And because we've had to go there over and over and over and over and over. I mean, as have all of you for your own reasons, but you do have a well-worn path, and I know that will bless your family. But the last thing I want to say really, and I know you would want me to say this as well, is even when we are not faithful, God is. And there's been a lot of days where we didn't know if we could continue to be faithful because it was hard. And God has always been faithful to us. And so we choose this opportunity to honor him and to lift him up. So I love you so much. I'm so excited for you. Erik, it's time to come to Montana and get to know us a little better. So he actually has, his mom is in Montana. So woohoo, we're excited for them to come visit. So love you.
That speech was amazing. So if anybody wants to get something to eat or drink again, I'd go now, because that was the pinnacle. It's downhill from here. I'm sorry I have 2 pages. I'd edited it to 1, but with Carlos during the wedding, man, he just blew the roof off. So I guess it's fair game. Whatever we want to talk about, it's on. So I'm looking forward to this. So the Apostle Paul in Romans 8:28, he tells us that, and we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him and who have been called according to his purpose. And I haven't walked through it with Erik, but I've walked next to Erik during some times that it was his faith that pulled him through. And just seeing him go through this and come out the other end with his faith not only intact but strengthened, and with a beautiful new wife. What a neat thing, and what a testimony. However, when I look out in this room, I see a lot of people who have known Erik for maybe 15 months or a year, or maybe 7 years, but I don't see a lot of faces who have known Erik as long as I have. So I just want to give you guys a brief history lesson and touch on a couple of fine points from our history together. So I met Erik in 6th grade, and he moved into town, and he was the new kid. The year before, another new kid had moved into town, and that kid in 6th grade looked like he had a wife and 3 kids, and I'd been shaving for about 10 years. Erik, not so much. I would call Erik at that time a deceptively good athlete, and that's what I remember him for. Erik got picked up by the American Legion Little League team, and they were already really good. They had another guy who had started puberty in about 2nd grade, and Todd Thatcher was throwing 70 miles an hour, and I don't even remember seeing a pitch. I just kind of swung the bat 3 times and went and sat down. Now, the coach of this team would match Erik right after Todd. He'd pitch the next, or they'd split him innings. Erik came into town with what he claimed was the Buell ball. And at the time, it was the only pitch that I could actually strike out on by getting out in front of it. In my mind, it was an amazing curveball, knuckleball mix. But I think in retrospect, he just threw a very slow fastball and an even slower ball, which he called the Buell ball. But for most of us, it was quite deceptive. He was also even more impressive on the basketball floor. Got to know a little bit more about Erik. I don't remember if it was 7th or 8th grade, but we were down by 2 with about 8 seconds left, and the coach called timeout, and we huddled up, and I had a good view because I definitely wasn't in the game, but I was tall enough to see over. Yeah, the need for a fat, tall kid who couldn't shoot wasn't real imperative in crunch time. And so the coach carefully diagrammed a play for another guy who, looked like he was married with kids, how he was going to get the ball in the post, drive, hopefully get fouled, 2 or 3 point play, and we were going to do it. Erik proceeded to take the inbounds pass, dribble down the court, stand at the top of the 3-point line, hit the front of the rim, it bounced 3 or 4 times and went in. At which point we won the game, and Erik claimed that after years of shooting at the covered area, he knew exactly how to shoot the ball. And he meant to shoot it short and have it bounce in, because that was the only way it was going to go in. So Erik has never lacked for confidence in being an athlete. He really, he wasn't this tall. He really grew kind of later on. I'm sorry, I'm probably turning out of the mic. So other highlights, I've seen him introduced, just heads up, Leah, now that you're married, too late now, sorry. I've seen him introduced as Buell and Buttle repeatedly, I think, at a baseball tournament with a bunch of snickering high schoolers up in the box. So just a little heads up on the name. He's got the only triple-double that I'm aware of in Sequim High School basketball history. To put up 29 points, 12 rebounds, and 12 assists in a 32-minute game is pretty impressive. And he's kind of a white Kevin Durant on the 9-foot hoops, even into his late 20s and 30s. So he's the best athlete I know. And I really, our friendship was forged. I was believe me, bottom of the barrel spring basketball team player. He was a high end, but we'd drive to practices together, and it was either in an old Pontiac mine or his V-Dub Rabbit, and we made it there safely. Really what I remember most from those times are honestly the breakfast with Uncle Joe and Boyd. And to say we weren't necessarily game ready after a huge breakfast is fair to say. And we had a coach who called us to put our lives on the line, and I think Erik and I looked at each other and laughed. But anyway, I think the hallmark of me not beating Erik, I was 18, we had graduated, we were playing croquet, and I was poisoned. It was a two-man game. The ball was less than 2 inches away, and I somehow managed to get under it, jump over his ball, at which time he fell over laughing and proceeded to just whack the ball and win the game. And I don't know if I've ever beat him in anything. Through seeing him coach Skyhawks, being up at Regent Seminary, trips to Canada, another hallmark of Erik's confidence, I remember him watching on the golf course. He hit a hole-in-one. And for a man to have the audacity to say, there are holes in one, but that one was perfect. That again. So you should, just a man of amazing confidence here, Leah. So, but, just to say, in locker rooms, hotels, hot tubs, campouts, golf courses, I've seen parts of Erik, Leah, that I hope you never have to. And so, for all us guys, it's clear who wins the best when we get married. But like we talked about last night, maybe no contacts at bedtime tonight might be an okay plan. Just kidding. Like Erik and I, we talked to each other about this. We're not getting any better looking, but the curve's coming down. And that's the important thing, right, buddy? All right. So, in truth, Erik is a best friend that I can talk to about anything. We have, most importantly, a shared faith. We have a lot of shared life experiences. We're both fathers. And, I've watched him go from a guy who at age 12 walked over to our car as my mom was picking us up from a church youth group, and he was on his bike, and he said, "You know what, Aaron, if there's a God, I'm going to climb up on this light pole and jump off. If there's a God, he'll save me." Watching him grow from that in a faith journey to the man of God he is today, and being an awesome pastor and a man of faith has been a real blessing in my life. And he's always been that to me. And honestly, I feel selfish saying this, but 2 years ago I wasn't sure if I was going to have that friend still. I mean, he was still my friend Erik, but it was not Erik. And he was still there, but at times a shell. And I was never sure that was going to change. And then something happened. Last Father's Day, we met. We had come over to Spokane, and my lovely wife is charming in so many ways. And we were sitting. I'm getting the head shake. If I'm sleeping in on the couch tonight, we'll know why. We met at Sonic. And Erik came over and said, "Hey, Jenna, I've got a girlfriend." And Jenna looked up and said, "Real or make-believe?" and Erik assured her that she was real. And then in August last summer, I got a text message that said, "I love Leah Adams!" Exclamation point, exclamation point. And I text back and I said, "Well, great, I love Sonic." I assumed the text was to go to you, but if you were wondering, that text came to me first. So I was on the know before any of you. So, in meeting Leah, I got to meet her in August, and I was looking forward to this. I had concerns about who may be next in Erik's life, and, of course, as a married, sensitive, mature Christian man, my primary question was, is she hot or not? And, of course, no offense, buddy, the answer is yes. Sorry, honey. Yeah, I'm getting the head shake. This is getting ugly. All right. But not only that, it was very clear she was a woman of faith. I made a joke out of the Old Testament, and she laughed, which does not happen often. One, because my jokes aren't good, and two, most people don't get them. She is very genuine, intelligent, she's articulate, and she was fun. And I had a blast talking with her. We got talking medicine, and I think Erik was there. I really don't remember. I'm kidding. And so I think like it was shared last night, initially I was worried that the next woman in Erik's life wouldn't be good enough for him, and now I'm more worried that he's not good enough for Leah. So they are fantastic together. However, there was a small time when I met her, I was like, is she like selling condos? Is she gonna take him home and kill him? Like, what is she doing with Erik? I was like, what's the catch? What's the hang up? Like, you seem too good to be true. And I was like, when's the shoe gonna drop? What's going on? But it never did. I was truly taken by what a great woman Erik had found. And again, in a deep, sensitive, heartfelt comment that really, I think only someone from my generation, I turned to Erik and I said, you found like a first-run Princess Leia Kenner action figure in the original packaging, mint condition. Like, she's perfect. There's nothing wrong with her. I'm not going to make any comments about hairs and curls and things like that. Anyway, sorry. But Leah, sincerely, Erik is not only Erik again, he's even better. And I want to say thank you. I know he would tell you that a million times over, but selfishly, from a best friend standpoint, thank you. I am blessed with a wonderful wife and partner who is my best friend, who delivered an 11 and 10 pound child and could still run a half marathon. And it's a pleasure waking up next to her every morning and just our shared faith and just doing life with Jenna. And I really feel that you found someone who fits that mold, and it's a blessed man who has that. So congratulations. We're called as husbands to love our wives as Christ loved the church, and we're called to love them and not be harsh with them. And I really, keep in mind the word cherish, and just be thrilled with her. I do a couple other verses. Pastor Erik referenced it. He went a little longer than I do in John 2. I think now, as a husband with a mother and two lovely daughters and a mother-in-law, just stopping the verse at, "Dear woman, why do you involve me?" I think is a great one just to have in your pocket as a husband. I mean, if our perfect Savior was brought to that by his mother, there are going to be times. So just keep that in your back pocket. And then Paul also reminds us in 1 Corinthians 7, do not deprive each other except by mutual consent, and only for a time, so that you can devote yourselves to prayer. So I think about a half hour of prayer is pretty good, and then, you're right back, game on. So, but sincerely, a marriage built under Christ's headship is the best marriage. And Jesus tells us in Matthew 18:20 that where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I will be with them. So always be together under Jesus' name. That's my encouragement to you. May you grow in grace as you grow in age. And as it says in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. So to Erik and Leah, congratulations.
Well, I just want to say this has probably been just about the best day of my life, and it's because of her. And I also want to say thank you to everybody who's here. It's amazing to see all these different worlds come together. You see Oakdale, you see Spokane, you see people from Montana, you see people from the bad side of the state over on the other side. I can say that now after being here for 7 years. But you see all these different people that have come together to honor her and I, and it's amazing. And we do want to just say that we want to honor the Lord, too, in the day, and to say God's been faithful to me and to her. I also want to give a thank you to Leah's father, Rick, who's provided this amazing evening for us, so let's give him a round. I have 2 daughters, so knowing what a reception costs right now is good. It helps me to think ahead and try to save for the day when I'm going to be doing it for them. Inflation, too, that's right. That's right. No, but seriously, and thank you to Center Place and the caterers. The food was awesome. I thought the food was great. And let's keep partying. How's that?